we go. Hi. Hello.
Hey, chica.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, cowgirl.
Hi.
Good.
All good. Yeah. Quite nice. It's been quite nice so far.
It actually has, hasn't it? Yeah, lovely little coffee.
Yeah.
Little chit chat.
You liked the look of someone's pumps?
I did. Lovely pair of velvet pumps, although not good for your feet, not good for the arch of your feet.
They did look like slippers.
Oh yeah, but they're supposed to look like slippers.
Oh, right.
You see, they're from a brand called Flabulous.
Oh.
And I have a pair of the black ones, and I've had them for about 2 years now, but they're so flat that the arch of your foot really starts aching by the end of the day.
Vans, though, they're flat.
They're very flat.
So I just only wear Vans. I've accidentally worn barefoot shoes for my whole life.
Exactly. Well, I didn't realise that even if you're wearing trainers every day, if you wear the same pair of shoes every day, it's bad for your feet.
Well, I'm fucked then.
I know, because I just wear... the thing is, I want to be the kind of person that can wear a boot and can match a shoe to a top.
No.
But shoes are the least important part of dressing for me.
Yeah.
And so I just put on the same pair of trainers every day. I've been wearing these Asics now for the last 2 years, and I had a hole in the toe of them now for the last 4 months, and it's just started to get really gross. So I decided to buy some new trainers, and there was a sale on, so I bought 2 pairs of the Adidas ones, colourful ones, and the guys in the shop, they were like, ooh, 2 pairs of shoes, she's a baller.
I thought you were wearing different ones today.
I was like, okay, boys, thank you very much.
The thing is, they're so cheap. If you think about how much, say, a coat costs compared to shoes, and I wear the same pair of Vans for maybe a year at a time.
Yeah. Well, both of the boys in the shop told me it was crazy that I've been wearing the same pair of shoes every day. And then I was looking at my foot, and I got a bunion.
Oh, no.
I got a bunion, and it turns out those are irreversible.
Oh, yeah. Once you get a bunion.
You have to get it surgeried off.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But I think bunions are the sign that you're quite elegant.
Do you think so?
Because didn't Carrie Bradshaw get a bunion, and it was like... it's because she wears Manolo Blahniks the whole time.
I'm wearing the dirtiest pair of trainers every single day, and I've managed to get one bunion on my left foot. But Victoria Beckham, she's Mrs. Bunion. I mean, she's the bunion queen.
Yeah.
So in a way, I guess you could say it is very elegant. But,
yeah.
So I got a new pair of shoes, 2 new pairs of shoes.
We're busy gals.
Really, the thing is, very, very busy.
It's just also one of these things, when I see children in cool shoes, I just look at their parents differently, because me and Alfie have said this for years, but years ago, when I think I've said this before, but I went to a soft play centre, and getting kids, they obviously can't wear shoes in a soft play centre. I remember having this thought of if I was going to steal a child, because I lost Donnie or something, and I remember panicking, thinking, oh my God, where is he? He could have got stolen. This is the worst nightmare coming to life. And then I was like, actually, no one would come and steal a kid here, because they would have to then put on their shoes, and putting on a child's shoes is one of the worst parts of parenting. Buying children's shoes is one of the most annoying parts of parenting too, because they change size all the time. You spend 30 quid on a pair of shoes, then they outgrow them in 2 months. It's one of the most annoying things. I was like, oh, actually, I can let him just be free for a bit.
Yeah, the kidnapper would probably lose interest, because it would just be so tedious.
Because the kid, they would have to steal the kid without shoes, because they're not going to waste time finding the kid's shoes and saying, which shoes are yours before I steal you? So they would have to then buy the kid's shoes, because then it'd be too obvious that they stole a child. So I was like, I played that through all in my head, and I realised, oh no, you can relax.
Very logical.
But when I saw a girl this morning in some of those pink Nikes, the ones that have come back, the ones that I'm wearing, that I've had for years.
Yeah, like the kind of chunky ones.
The chunky ones,
the basketball player ones.
Extremely unflattering shoe, but I'm wearing them. And I saw a girl in pink ones, and I was like, oh, Margot would love them. But I just don't have the energy to go and find. I have to just buy whatever is there in her size and get them. It's honestly the worst part.
Yeah, I took Margot to get some shoes a couple of months ago, and it was really... I mean, she wanted the sparkliest ones and all of this stuff, but understandable.
They're never available.
But we got her a pair of Lely Kellys. Lely Kellys was the status symbol when I was that age. Lely Kelly, the coolest shoes.
Oh, the pink ones.
Yeah. You can't play with us, we are so cool, oh yeah. What a fucking toxic, twisted message to give to young girls.
Yeah.
That if you have the coolest shoes, you can't play with us. That's what they used to taunt us. They used to pin me up against the fence wall when I had my bob cut. Do you know what I mean? Lely Kelly, you can't play with us, BB.
They didn't do that.
No, they didn't. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? They did pin me up against the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah.
My microphone's slightly quieter than yours, so I'm just gonna
Sorry, people.
Sorry, people.
Oh,
You speak into it.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, okay,
got it.
No, I've never got Lily Kellys. I never ever got any. My shoes were always tennis shoes.
Yeah.
K-Swiss though. Now, very cool. Back then, not so much.
I had to wear boys' shoes after a while because I have such a heavy walk that I would sort of ground down the soles of any of like the girls' pumps or anything like that. So I had to have these really ugly like kickers that are like designed for like naughty, nasty little boys.
Yeah. So the kicker thing, I remember they were so ridiculous. The kickers that girls wore to school with the heel, and I was never allowed to get them, obviously. But it's like now that I'm at the situation where Margot's going to have shoes for school, it's like, am I going to let her have a really slutty shoe?
I think that's a really interesting thing to think about, isn't it? Like having a daughter and realising what are the things that you are going to take from how you were raised and what are you going to change about it? What are you going to let her have that you think actually maybe that wouldn't be so bad? Like,
well, I've already let her have her ears pierced.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And she wants to wear hoops. That's the next step, where we wear matching studs. And she started saying, but I want to wear hoops. And I've been like, no one wears hoops at school. And then I've seen so many girls in hoops.
But do you think that being cool, younger, like, is good for a child? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I feel like girls are cooler now, younger.
Yeah, they are cooler.
So there's nothing I can do to stop her from wanting to be as cool as they are.
Exactly, and you don't want to hold her back. You don't want her to resent you for not allowing her to express herself in the ways that she wants to express herself.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of all the things that I desperately wanted, but I couldn't have got, like earrings. I wanted to get my ears pierced, and then for some reason I just didn't. I don't think that our mum didn't let me. I just didn't get it done until I was 19.
I didn't get mine done until I was 17.
Yeah. And then I got 2 done very quickly, and Margot already wants to get her second one done.
I know, she was saying that to me the other day.
I'm just going to let her, although she's got to be careful with the earlobes, because she pulls them to get her to the earring in, because she says that's how to get it in. And I'm like, you're going to stretch those earlobes, you're not careful, Margot.
You're going to have earlobes down to your kneecaps.
So I don't know. I'm happy for her to just do the things that everyone else is doing. One thing that I am really glad about with their generation is, have you seen all the news stuff about how in Australia they're going to ban social media for teens before 16?
Really?
Yeah, no social media before 16. There's loads of campaigns going on in the UK to try and get mobile-free schools, which is just brilliant.
I think that's amazing.
So hopefully by the time they go to high school, there won't be any mobile phones. Because when I took her to the drama the other day, I was waiting for her to come out, and I looked down. I was standing up, and there was a girl sitting on the floor, and so I accidentally was looking at what she was looking at on her phone, and she was just scrolling on TikTok, and then messaging banal things on TikTok, and I was like, what are we doing to these brains? They're so young.
I know. Well, it was interesting because on the way here we were talking about how you feel like in your generation you missed out on like understanding the way that Gen Z use TikTok and like these, trends and the lip syncing stuff or whatever. But I was saying to Jessie that it's funny because she doesn't realise that like sort of teenagers now, and even people in their early 20s, like who should know better, but like teenagers now are romanticizing in the way that trend cycles come very quickly now, like 5-10 years. Everyone's lusting after being in the 90s or the 70s, or then it's been the 2000s for ages now. But recently I've noticed on TikTok people romanticizing the early 2010s, the BuzzFeed era, basically putting on these quirky core outfits, like the kind of things that for me define what your early adulthood was, like the big chunky cardigans with the mismatched buttons and the lacy tights and the colourful sort of owl necklaces. People posing in
I never wore an owl necklace.
Okay, no,
Thank
sorry,
you
no.
very much.
You seemed like somebody that
would wear an owl fucking necklace.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I look like an owl. I can't help it.
Yeah, maybe.
I made that joke at Comic Con the other day. They asked me what animal I'd be, and I was like, well, I look like an owl or Kinga from Big Brother. And no one laughed. King is unfortunately not as much of a relevant cultural reference now, which is crazy because that was the peak of British television. But anyway, people are romanticizing. They're like, daydreaming about being working at BuzzFeed circa 2013, and they're there with like the little ankle boots and like doing the sort of Zooey Deschanel posing, and it just feels insane because that doesn't feel like it's long enough for that to be romanticized. But in a way, what these young people are romanticizing is the air of optimism that was in the air. Like there was something kind of hopeful and sort of free about that time, I think, or at least the way it's portrayed. Like girls, for example,
all of the soundtrack, all of the clothes, all of the fashion. It felt like it was a really good time to be a young person in a big city, right? Because it's like Obama was president, and like the world felt like there was hope for change, and like technology was still new and exciting. We weren't decades into the conversation about how social media is the worst possible thing for you. Yeah, it was still exciting.
Do you remember that bit in Girls? I think it's in one of the first episodes where she's sitting there and it's the episode where the Dancing on My Own song comes in at the end, and just before then she's sitting at her laptop and she starts typing in a tweet like, cool girls get all the cool girls have.
All dangerous women do, or all adventurous women do.
Yeah. But then there's also, isn't there one where she types in a tweet and then untypes it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so simple what she's doing. Now, there are so many avenues you could go to just say how you're feeling and express how you're, show yourself.
Yeah, it was a bit purer, wasn't it?
So much
and it was just writing down words, whereas now I feel like it's all about images, and it means that we don't then retain words in the exact same way. I remember that scene so clearly. And Marnie comes up to the door and she's like, hey, girl. And I love that moment. But also one of the tweets that Hannah is typing underneath the one that she was typing is, I just poured some water on bread in the bin to try and not eat it, and I ate it anyway. And I remember always thinking that was really funny.
Should you come in a little bit? I'm just thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was a great time and had an air of optimism that period of time. I definitely remember feeling scared by Facebook when that started, because I was at Manchester when Facebook came out in those 6 weeks that I was there, and I remember everyone going slightly mad about it. And there was photos of me like on a mechanical bull, and it was very, very thin and getting drunk, and these photos were suddenly there, and it was because it was so foreign to me to see myself like that in these photos of strangers putting on their things. I remember feeling immediately like exhilarated, but also absolutely terrified. And I think very quickly, as soon as I left, I deleted it, and all of those photos of that period of time are just gone.
Yeah.
Whereas now, they're never really gone.
No, exactly. So that's what, it was also an interesting time for the internet, because like making these photo albums on Facebook was sort of a status symbol. I remember I remember getting Facebook around year 7 or 8 and feeling incredibly guilty about it, because I was at a friend's house in her computer room, lied about my age in order to be able to get an account, felt so guilty about it. I maybe had it for 2 days before I had to tell our mum, and I was like, oh, sorry, I lied to you. And then I recreated the account like a year later, and then it was a status symbol. Oh, were you featured in Amy's Facebook album? They clearly had a party over the weekend, and then you weren't invited, or you weren't in those photos, and then it was like, oh, that's a big deal.
The horror when you get a notification saying you've been tagged in photos and you have no recollection of the photos, and then you go and it's just you in the background with like it's just the worst thing ever. I was thinking that today about I was looking up for some reason. I had a deep dive into Jude Law for some reason, because he was on Smartless.
Yeah. And then also his daughter on TikTok. Iris.
Yeah, who is exactly what I probably would have wanted to be as a teen.
I think so.
Because she is stunning.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She's like the new Kate Moss.
She's so beautiful, yeah.
Those genes, they have lucked out, because Sadie Frost is beautiful too, but Jude Law and Sadie Frost have created almost a perfectly symmetrical, like, gorgeous. Anyway,
she doesn't even need any hair. Can you imagine not needing any hair? Like, you have to be the most beautiful person in the world to not need none. Need none.
Yeah. And so I did a deep dive into his wives. He has 7 children, Jude Law.
No fucking
He has
way.
7 children. So
Henry,
he had his first at 23 with Sadie Frost. Sadie Frost was 31. But she had her one previous with one of the Spandau Ballet guys at 23. Anyway, so she's got 4 kids, 1 with Spandau Ballet guy, 3 with Jude Law. Jude Law had 3 very quickly with Sadie in his 20s, then was with Sienna Miller by the time he was 30, and then was in multiple... He's had 2 kind of very short flings or one-night stands, got 2 kids from them. And then now he's been married since... He's been with the same woman who's kind of similar to my age for 10 years and has 2 kids under 5.
So wait, did he not have any kids with Sienna Miller?
No. And he was only... This is what's crazy.
That's crazy.
He was... Guess how long he was with Sienna Miller?
2 years?
Yeah, okay, well, you got it. No.
Damn, you know when somebody asks you that question and you always were like, you don't want to disappoint them. So sometimes I like I'll say like, when somebody's like, guess how many, I'll say like a crazy answer just so that they have the joy of being able to
you
say,
ruined that.
No, I did. And I felt myself ruining it.
But did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, but are you slightly surprised? Because with the amount of press they got.
Oh, you would have thought that they'd been together for 10 years. You would
Yeah.
have thought that they'd been together for 10 years.
Talking about style of that period of time, do you remember those mechanical... the metal belts of the discs?
Oh, yeah. Those are coming back in a big way as well.
I would never be seen dead in one of them.
You had one of them.
No, I didn't. I never had one of the discs.
You did, Jessie.
No, I
did.
had one of the big leather ones.
Oh my God. You think I don't know what kind of clothes you had? I would obviously go into your room every time that you weren't there and try on every single thing that you had. You had one of the Mary-Kate and Ashley big chunky belts.
Yeah,
it was almost like as thick as a skirt.
Yeah, but it didn't have the metal discs.
It had one or two metal
Yeah,
discs
exactly.
on it.
It wasn't like a full metal disc.
It wasn't a full. It wasn't a Gladiator.
No.
It wasn't a Gladiator.
No, so the style that's coming back, and I know this because of my accidental stalking of a dancer on TikTok that went into the early hours a couple of days ago, but is really ugly skirts.
Oh, yeah.
With chunky socks, kind of clogs, gross cardigans, but crucially, as much of your tummy as possible on show.
Yeah.
And a bra, and that's it. So that's the step forward, is like you show your entire midriff.
Yeah. Well, it's like the small top, big pants, big top, small pants sort of idea, isn't it? Just like with a skirt.
Yeah. And the main difference between that style and when it was originally happening is body hair is back. Because that's feminist.
Yeah, and you don't have like, I feel like the first time round, you also had to pair it with very orange fake tan, nude lips, and like loads of black eyeliner.
Yes.
And very messy hair. People don't have the kind of the messy, gritty hair that was, I think, the style back then.
Totally. And imagine if back then the abundance of lip filler and stuff like that had been going on.
Oh my God, it would have been a completely different time.
We didn't have that really back then.
No.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Do you remember that you were photographed? Do you remember you were in that street style thing once?
Oh yeah, no, that was one of my first. So that was such an amazing time, because that was when I got stopped on the street outside Topshop.
She got
for one of those like, what are they wearing?
Was that when you were working at Topshop?
No. That's when I had just auditioned for Harry Potter, and I was probably just coming from an audition. And I was like, well, of course I've been stopped. Of course I've been stopped for the street fashion.
Denim waistcoat you're wearing.
Right, and they try to they just basically get a group of people together and think they look cool, and then try and have a common thing between them. And we were all wearing denim, obviously, because everyone wears something denim. But I was wearing a denim waistcoat.
Yeah, you looked fucking cool. You had like a grey, long-sleeved shirt, very Dr. Orner, sort of pushed up to here, denim waistcoat. And I think you might have been wearing a hat.
No, I wasn't. I had my hair like this, in a way.
Yeah.
And I was wearing my big Nikes. The funny thing about that waistcoat is I still have it and I still wear it all the time. I thought it's like one of the coolest items in the world.
Yeah.
But you know how you wear something a lot, and then when you're in a relationship for a long period of time, like maybe 7 years in, which is what happened, Alfie was like, that's the most hideous thing I've ever seen. And I was like, but this is the coolest item of clothing on the planet. How can you think that's not cool?
I know, and then it like destroys your whole worldview of how you thought they perceived you.
Absolutely.
100%.
And I was like, so all those times that I wore it, you thought I was disgusting.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
You didn't think to tell me. He's like, no, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. It's like, I now feel mortified for myself.
Exactly.
And I can't get rid of the cardigan because it holds those special memories of that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I also found out is he once hid an ex-girlfriend's hat.
He hid it.
He hid it because he didn't want to tell her that he didn't like it, because he's a coward. He's a coward. And I'm like, so now I'm like, now every so often I think he's hidden something.
Oh, because he just doesn't want you to wear it.
He just doesn't want to hurt my feelings.
That's actually quite an effective method. I think I might start doing that. That's great.
But so if I don't like something he wears, I just tell him. Why wouldn't you just fucking tell him?
Because I guess it can hurt. I mean, if it's hurt your feelings when somebody said that to you, yeah, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe just hide it. Plus, it's more fun that way.
I just think it's always better just to be upfront. It does hurt initially, but I think I just want to be attracted to him at all times. So like now the thought.
What's your least favorite thing that he wears?
No, my least favorite style of his hair.
Yeah,
and he's defiant about it, but is when he wears it back, like he gels it back. I'm like, no, have it like messy and in front. Like,
I think all men look better with longer, softer hair.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they just can't wrap their head around it, and they're constantly like getting it cut shorter. For me personally, the short back and sides thing, that's my like that just makes me. For me, that makes you look like Ollie Murs, and I don't find Ollie Murs attractive. I think he seems like a lovely man.
I think he seems like a lovely man,
but I wouldn't want to kiss Ollie Murs. I don't think.
I constantly get Ollie Murs and Will Young mixed up. Because they both are twins.
Yeah, they do look very similar, don't they?
They don't look similar. They're both twins. So Ollie Murs had the drama with his brother too.
Yeah, they both have twin energy.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Well, they like part of them, like their other half seems lost. People that have a ghostly energy. Oh, you're a twin. That makes sense. Your other half is lost.
Exactly. Or they have this kind of feeling when you see them that they're doing it on someone else's behalf.
Yeah. Like they're carrying the weight of like a whole other person on their shoulders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like twins are actually quite noble in that way.
Yeah.
And interesting and mysterious. And freaks, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're a twin.
I'm so jealous of twins.
I love it when Horatio wears his hair long. I love it when he wears like the kind of soft academia, like sort of button-up shirts and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe I'm going to start hiding some of the clothes that I don't like.
It's really sweet though, because you do... It's your identity is so blurred when you've been in with someone for years.
It's true. You can start dressing the same. We genuinely we dress the same all the time now.
I don't dress the same as Alfie, but he used to love wearing shirts. I hate shirts. For years, I didn't say anything about the shirt.
Shirts like a button-down shirt.
Yeah.
You don't like a button-down shirt?
Why would you wear a shirt?
I love a button-down shirt. I think men look great in those.
I hate shirts. Can't bear them. So he doesn't really wear shirts anymore around me. So I feel bad about, but it's because I've been so vocal.
I love the style. We both of us love the style. Our ultimate dream man style is Brett from Flight of the Concords, obviously.
Oh, of course.
So like just a big soft jumper with an animal on it.
Big animals.
And so I've been pushing that on Horatio a lot the last few years. And he has sort of slowly started to take that on board.
But you get it back eventually. When at the early stages, I remember Alfie wore a lot of colourful t-shirts because he knew I liked them. And now he doesn't do that anymore because he's happy with a kind of a middle ground.
But what you have to do is you always have to appeal to them in their own language. Horatio's like such a businessy person, and he's always thinking about sort of his persona for like being on stage and stuff like that. Because like the whole high status, low status thing of being a comedian, you know, how people perceive you when you first walk on a stage. Because he's this big, tall, sort of, you know, white guy with a very sort of like, you know, sort of RP voice and all that kind of stuff, he obviously immediately comes across quite like high status and probably a little bit unlikable. And so I always think it's a good idea for you to soften then your image with something like a cozy jumper or whatever. And so when I talk to him in those languages, I'm like, oh, actually I think that this soft jumper, that's going to be like good for your act.
Oh my god,
then
the amount of time that I've spent talking to Alfie about outfits on stage and how he's going to look in this special or this whatever, I was like, They think about it as much as a woman.
Of course.
Like, they think about it so much.
They take longer to get ready than we do, probably. But that's because, you and I, we actually most of the time we dress in kind of quite comfy stuff, I think.
I know. I don't know who I am.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what my style is. Because like sometimes I dress so girly and feminine. But honestly, most of the time I just dress like a boy. I just dress like a little boy.
It's so funny you said that about Flight of the Concords, because the other day I was trying to play Margot some music videos and I thought of Cara Brown from Flight of the Concords and I wanted to show her the video. So I went on YouTube and it's the blurriest thing ever. And it just didn't translate to her because it was, the footage was so old. Mm-hmm. She kind of liked the song, but she almost couldn't see the YouTube video. And I was just so sad because I was like, oh, that's just lost. And we know how great it was, that series. And it had this massive cult following. And obviously they've gone on, like, especially Jermaine's gone on to such an amazing career. Yeah. But like, it's amazing because technology wasn't as good back then. Now, that's kind of lost. They can't update that.
Exactly. Like the footage is is it pixelated? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Or is it just like that low quality frame rate or something like that just means that it
just wasn't filmed on a good enough camera.
And it's so interesting to see a young person interpreting that because if they don't have the reference for what that's supposed to look like, I guess it must just look like complete shit to them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. I was so upset because I was like, oh, that might just be lost now. Because even if you watch it, even if I bought it, I think I have bought it for Prime and we tried to watch it. And again, they just didn't, because it wasn't good quality enough, we couldn't watch it. And it's just like such a shame, isn't it? That things just, they weren't, if that was made now, but also if that was made now, it wouldn't get made.
No, it wouldn't get made now. It's way too quirky. And I feel like experimental in that way. Like the episodes are actually quite sort of slowly paced if you think about it, and they're about such sort of offbeat things. Whereas I feel
really
like
simple little stories.
TV shows now are much more engineered towards like, I don't know, action and filling up the content with
TV
stuff.
especially. It's just as much story as possible per 15 minutes.
And what can they make into a clip? What can they make into a clip that will be on Instagram as well?
Yeah.
Whereas probably nothing from Flight of the Concords is that clippable, really.
Well, they were music videos.
It's true. Oh God, it's the best show ever.
It is. It's amazing to see really now, and just to realise, Jermaine is just
most gorgeous man in the world. Both of them.
Oh my God, they're both. And Brett just seems so lovely. And
the perfect men. Perfect men. And also they represent, so like that show to me feels so nostalgic because I remember staying in your first flat when you'd moved out of home.
Yeah.
And watching that on your floor. Yeah, that really hard, weird straw floor.
The yoga carpet.
And then drinking like hot chocolates out of like your mugs. God. And I remember being like, wow, I'm a grown-up city girl.
Yeah.
In the city of Camden.
Yeah. Crazy.
Cool. And I think we were both wearing infinity scarves. You see,
what's an infinity scarf?
You know, there's like big round scarves. You know, the ones where it's like you had a lot of infinity scarves, or at least they felt like infinity scarves, where it like goes around the neck, like a big chunky scarf.
Yeah.
Chunky scarf. And it's so funny because that's the life that these Gen Zs are romanticizing. And at least we got to live it kind of first time round. We got to live it authentically.
I know.
But it's Midnight in Paris syndrome, isn't it? Where it's like, every generation romanticizes and lusts over something in the past that they imagine would be so much better. But what you're saying is it wasn't this time filled with optimism and hope, because when you're actually living life in the moment that you're in it, you're just living it, and nothing seems like romanticized in that way. So I guess that's kind of nice to know.
It's what we're saying. It's just there's now such an abundance of channels you can go down. Mm-hmm. You can exploit yourself in a million different ways daily. Whereas back then, you had to pay to have a website. You had to pay to get things filmed. You couldn't just film things on your phone.
It's true.
You couldn't just edit things on your phone. You couldn't Photoshop an image on your phone. It was all so basic.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to go and be public, you had to have the funds to pay to do that. And now it's like, no, anyone can be a filmmaker.
Exactly.
Anyone can be a photographer. I mean, I don't believe in photography, but anyone can just, do that kind of, that thing.
It's true.
And we're now kind of almost kind of immobilized by that choice. And so the people who do go for it, I mean, like I was thinking about this about Selena Gomez, because I'm late to the party, but I really like her songs.
Are you kidding?
I really like her songs.
I'm late to the party, but I really like her songs. Okay, Grandma. Selena Gomez.
I fucking love her.
Jessie, you have the weirdest taste ever.
I'm just a girly girl. I'm just a girly girl.
Jennifer Lopez, Selena Gomez.
I don't like Jennifer Lopez's music. I like her in theory. I actually think she's got a lot of. I'm now kind of. I'm coming round to the idea that Ben was quite unhappy.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think Ben was unhappy. We both think Ben was unhappy.
I feel sorry for Ben, but I also just love J-Lo, and I think she's just she should just be free now. I don't think she should be in a relationship. J-Lo just needs to be on her own.
I agree. I think J-Lo is a sort of more of a spiritual creature that like should just exist in the world as an ephemeral sort of energy source. But Selena Gomez, that's very surprising to me because I don't really know any of her music.
Well, I'm late to the party because
the party ended 5 years ago. And Jessie's knocking on the door. Hello, anyone there?
I didn't know that I obviously knew when she was going out with Justin Bieber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's because she has like a chronic illness, and she did this podcast I listened to about it, and she's just lovely. She does a lot for charity. She does a lot for mental health. She was actually sectioned. Love people who are sectioned.
Me too.
Gotta have a love for them.
Yeah.
And
it's real, It's real.
And she talks really open about it. I mean, her song, My Mind and Me. It's stunning.
I haven't heard that one. The only song I can think of is I Love You Like a Love Song, Baby. But I think that
I don't know that one. I only know 3 of them.
Years ago.
I only know 3 of her songs.
Well, the thing is, Selena Gomez has a lot of interesting lore around her, I guess is maybe the word for it.
What's that?
Lore as in Lore. Do you know what I mean? Like she has a lot of sort of...
Loie.
No, Lore, lore, you know?
What's that?
Lore? Well, like folklore.
Lore.
What's lore? Lore, oh God, it feels so fucking dumb coming out of my mouth. Lore, I guess, I don't know if anybody agrees with me on my definition
Selena Gomez
of this.
lore.
law in terms of like a social media sense, or like law in terms of like a modern definition of the word law is like sort of the drama or the stories circulating around a particular person.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like the law is like, you know, just like the stories of old, like the law of your parents, the life that they lived before you.
Okay.
Law is just like, I don't know, it's just like a word that's kind of come into the cultural lexicon recently, but like the law of Selena Gomez is something I'm not super familiar with, but supposedly she stole a kidney from someone.
A kinleaf?
A kidney.
A kidney?
Yeah. Okay, I might be wrong. And again, I don't want to get sued.
I don't like that chat, thank you. I'm only going to be positive about that. I don't believe
apparently she stole it. And
she did need a kidney.
No, but apparently she didn't say thank you to this person. Didn't even include her in her documentary or something.
Oh, no.
And there's like loads of stuff online about her being
she's
insane.
Kind. No, she's kind. I got good sense of people.
I don't think you did.
I do. I like Selena. Anyway, she was one of these ones on TikTok who does these kind of lip syncing stuff, and she just seems to be kind of, she's grown up with social media and she's kept on top of it. Mm-hmm. She could have been left behind too. Yeah. But she kept going and she keeps releasing music. She keeps doing films. She's in The Only Murderers in the Building. Mm-hmm. Never watched it.
No, never. I know watched that one.
But seems to be good.
Seems fine.
No, but why was I saying her? Why was I talking about Selena Gomez?
Because you were just saying that you like her music.
No, but it was for a reason. There was a reason I was going to talk about Selena Gomez.
Gosh, your hair looks so pretty in the sunlight. It's like pure golden.
Okay, so the other one is Jennifer Garner. Mm-hmm. Because, so we were going to talk about TikTok dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jennifer Garner is a fascinating creature because she just loves to dance. Have you seen her little dances?
I think I actually have seen a couple of her TikToks. She seems so happy, doesn't she?
She's just a natural woman, you know. She's doing her dances. She's doing her cooking videos. She's taking us around her kind of Whole Foods children's food company that's kind of for adults too. But who's going to really, you know, if you see an adult sucking a yogurt?
Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird.
You mustn't do that.
You shouldn't suck a yogurt in public. Jesus Christ,
Walking
keep it to
on the
home.
road, sucking a yogurt. It's called a sucky.
Oh, God. That's embarrassing.
You've got to stop. Don't do that. Yes, it's high protein. Do that at home.
Yeah, have some self-respect. Nobody wants to see you eating a liquid
as
in public.
You're walking along the street. Yeah. Come on, that goes in my daughter's lunchbox.
Get a grip. Get a grip.
She's almost too old for it, and she's 8.
Petit Filou make your bunko stronger.
No, Petit Filou's just sugar.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jennifer Garner, like Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Garner, two different creatures. Jennifer Garner's happily doing her dancing in her garden, and that's what I'm afraid of being. So if I start, because I think my biggest kind of what I would just wish I could be is one of those girls who's doing the cool lip syncing kind of dancing videos to songs and just doesn't give a shit. Whereas so the other night I was on my own and I had time and I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna try being a TikTok dancing woman and be like, do it like a Charlie XCX or whatever she's called. I've never actually heard one of her songs.
But you've heard Selena Gomez's song.
Yeah. Well, I have. So I tried to pick a cool dancey song and I couldn't find one, but I tried. And honestly, the video is obscene.
Yeah.
My posture, like I thought I could dance, and it's like that's what I'm afraid of. I would never put that out there on the internet, and the fact that they can, I kind of had more respect for these people.
I completely agree, because I did a TikTok dance a couple of years ago and filmed myself in like a little crop top or whatever, and it was like just for me. It was just because it was like this song, this Doja Cat song, and there was this viral dance going on. I just thought everyone that did it seemed really cool, very sexy. Filmed myself doing it, watching it back is the most harrowing experience of my life. Wow.
And when I see Jennifer Garner doing her ballet dancing with her friend, who's obviously a ballet dancer herself, it's like she's gone the opposite way. She's not trying to do the sexy Doja Cat. She's like, elegant. The hills are alive type dancing.
Yeah, exactly, and embracing it. But it does, I agree with you, it makes me have more respect for how effortless these people make it seem.
Absolutely.
But also that there are so many good dancers in the world. One of the things that I do like about TikTok, I understand it's toxic and it's, you know, addictive and it's representative of the world ending, and, you know, it's sad that people have such short attention spans. Agreed with all of that. But it is, at the end of the day, still just a media source and a news source. So sometimes I feel like I educate myself a lot from TikTok. But also, one of the things that TikTok really does show you is how many talented people there are in the world.
Dancing.
I have seen so many brilliant dancers, so many people that have genuinely brought me joy from how beautiful their bodies move.
Or
and just like seeing people having fun.
Singing.
Or people singing. And it makes me sad in a way that we don't have more amplification of just like, I wish everybody had the chance to shine in the way that, you know. But I don't know.
Dua Lipa does.
Exactly, in the way that Dua Lipa does. But everybody should get a headlining Glastonbury set and see what they can do. But
everyone thinks they could.
Everyone thinks
that's
they
the
could,
great thing about TikTok, is that it gives everyone a little platform, and it's lovely. Have you seen the one of the two singers in the kitchen who get a famous person to come in and sing with them?
No.
I love that one too.
I haven't seen that one.
It's like they get famous people to come and sing one of their hit songs, as they became famous because they're really good singers, and they do, and now they become so famous that famous people come on and sing with them.
That's
and
nice.
Their voices are just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I think it's like, in a way, it's like a great leveler. It's like, it does give you a chance to sort of see the talent of the people around the world. And I think
what
that's
you were
really
saying about
beautiful.
news is really funny, because I don't get an iota of news on my TikTok. And that's because the only things that come up as, when you search something and it kind of comes up with trending, or is this the same for you? So the first thing that comes up every time I go on TikTok is Zayn Malik plus size girlfriend.
What?
As if that's wild news, because he's going out with someone who's plus size.
It's because they're like, your algorithm is like, we know what Jessie wants.
But isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. That's never come up for me. That's fascinating.
Why?
I mean, I think the One Direction members are like a lot in the press at the moment, obviously because of everything that's happened with Liam. But no, I've never had Zayn Malik plus size girlfriend. I wonder who his girlfriend is.
She's just like a normal woman.
That's cool.
Yeah, crazy. But that's every day I go on, I'm like, I don't need to know about his plus size girlfriend. It's
That's
okay.
very interesting. I wonder why that's the top search result for you. Are you sure that you haven't searched that in like your sleep or something?
No, I don't know why.
That's interesting.
It's never stuff that I've searched. It's just things that
they do give you a lot of suggestions on that sort of, when you do the search bar, it does give you some suggestions, and sometimes it can be like, oh bloody hell, that's what it thinks I want to know. Interesting.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, maybe it's just because I searched Liam Payne.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
I know.
Anyway, we've talked for too long now, but that was fun.
No, but
TikTok talent. No, because this is definitely. We can talk about the other stuff on the other one. I'm very impressed by your vocabulary today. Midnight in Paris syndrome.
Well, Midnight in Paris, the film.
Is that a thing?
No, I mean, I just made that up.
That's what this episode is going to be called.
Midnight in Paris syndrome.
That's great.
Well, but I do think it is really interesting. I find it to be a reassuring aspect of human nature that every generation seemingly romanticizes the past. And even this kind of quite bleak time, the 2010s, I feel like is the worst time for fashion, for the environment, the planet, like in some ways, if you look at it. But the fact that young people now are looking at that as being this beautiful time filled with optimism and big chunky cardigans. Wow, can you imagine going into an office and there being chevron print on the ground and everybody...
Chevron print?
Chevron is like supposedly something that's quite emblematic of that period of time. God, I just reveal myself to be such a sort of well of the most useless information, don't I? But
you really do keep it in, whereas if it's not necessary to my functions, it goes.
What do you think were the most... in your mind, the colours of that time? Because to people who are talking about the millennial generation, early 2010s, it's the colour coral, that kind of electric coral, and then that sort of turquoisey minty green.
See, this is the kind of chat that I just immediately just zone out of. I just don't. Why would I want to, like, where have you heard that? I'm
just talking about, you like Pinterest and stuff, right?
Okay, yeah, but we can talk about Pinterest on the other one. But like, when I think of that period of time, the first thing I think of is that Stacey Orico video. There's gotta be more to life. That one. Do you remember?
No.
And she's come back recently as well for some reason. But in this video, she wore a black and white stripy thin scarf that went around. And I think I genuinely for 2 years tried to find this thin black and white scarf. Mm-hmm. And thin scarves are coming back
too. Thin scarves are coming back in a huge way. Emo culture and like skater boy, all of that fashion, the thin scarves and the kind of like, even that, the hair, like with the sort of styled up hair, maybe even like a leopard print streak, that's all coming back. Scene kids.
Well, I could get a leopard print streak in my hair.
That would be amazing.
Well, how do you do that?
You basically take a very, very, very...
Don't touch my hair.
Okay, sorry. You take a very thin section of hair, like this.
Yeah.
And then you would sort of, it has to be completely flat. And then you would, like the hairdresser would bleach certain parts of it to make it light, like a leopard, and then do black on certain parts of it like that. And then it just looks like you have a tiny bit of leopard print in your hair.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is genuinely really cool.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, well, that was lovely. On our Patreon episode, we're going to talk about Pinterest.
We're going to talk about Pinterest, Jessie's discovery of Pinterest, my discovery of Pinterest. We're going to talk about home interior design.
And how I think it's bullshit.
And, yeah, great.
Thank you very much for listening.
See you next time.